What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Arrival Entertainment, and today I'm going to be finishing up my series of Batman videos with a ranking of the live-action Batman actors. First off, a couple of disclaimers before I get into the ranking. Just like every ranking I do, this is just my personal opinion on all these actors. You might feel differently about these actors in the placement I put them. That is perfectly fine. Let me know in the comment section at the end of the video how you would rank all these actors. Also, I'm just going to be talking about the live-action actors who have appeared in theatrical movies. So Adam West, Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck, and Robert Pattinson. I'm not going to be doing any of the animated stuff because this video is going to be super long if I do that. So yes, unfortunately, Kevin Conroy is not going to be on this list. I love Kevin Conroy as Batman, don't get me wrong, he's phenomenal as Batman. It's just that if I'm not going to be including all the other animated actors, because that's going to be way too long to do and way too long to rank, then I gotta keep it fair with Kevin Conroy, but suffice to say, I love the guy as Batman. And one more thing before I get on with the ranking, I just want to say that if you are new to the channel, then welcome. If you enjoy this type of content, then feel free to like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. That really helps me out. With that being said, let's get started with the ranking. Yeah, no surprise here. At the bottom of my list, we got George Clooney. I honestly feel bad for George Clooney. I feel like he could have made a really good Batman under a different director because he just gives off that Bruce Wayne persona in real life. When he's doing the Bruce Wayne billionaire playboy persona in Batman and Robin, he's not that bad. Like I said, I can buy George Clooney as Bruce Wayne. But when he turns into Bruce Wayne when he's alone with Alfred, or when he turns into Batman, he's just playing the same type of character. Again, he was given very poor direction. I don't blame George Clooney, because George Clooney is a very good actor. His level of emotion and depth is the same no matter what persona he's doing, either Bruce Wayne the billionaire, Bruce Wayne when he's alone with Alfred, or Batman, and it just doesn't work. I feel like Joel Schumacher didn't quite know what to do with this version of Batman after Michael Keaton's version of Batman. And because of that, we get a pretty bad performance from George Clooney and a pretty unintentionally funny performance at times. Again, I don't blame George Clooney, I blame the direction from Joel Schumacher. And yeah, you can guess who my next one is. It's Val Kilmer. Again, very similar to George Clooney, I feel like Val Kilmer could have pulled it off as Bruce Wayne and Batman. It's just that Joel Schumacher, who did both Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, it just feels like he didn't know what to do with the Bruce Wayne and Batman character. Because very similar to George Clooney, I can buy Val Kilmer as a Bruce Wayne character. There's moments where he's doing Bruce Wayne, the playboy billionaire, and Bruce Wayne when he's alone with Alfred, and he's doing an alright job, but when he's in the Batman suit, something just doesn't feel right. And what doesn't help that fact is that Val Kilmer gives a pretty bland performance. It's weird. George Clooney just gives a awkward performance, but Val Kilmer is very bland. At least in my opinion, he's pretty bland. I get there's a lot of fans out there that grew up with Batman Forever, so they kind of give Val Kilmer a pass, and I don't blame Val Kilmer. Very similar to George Clooney. I don't blame the actors. They're very good and very solid actors. I blame the direction that was given with them. Honestly, George Clooney and Val Kilmer can easily switch off as my least favorite, but the reason I gave Val Kilmer the notch higher than George Clooney was because, like I said, there are a couple of moments throughout Batman Forever where his Bruce Wayne, both personas of Bruce Wayne, are pretty good. They're better than George Clooney's. But if I'm looking at everything else that's in the picture, George Clooney and Val Kilmer can easily switch off for my least favorite. But for right now, George Clooney's my least favorite, and then we got Val Kilmer. Next up, we have Adam West. Now, when I did my ranking video, my movie ranking video, I didn't include the Batman movie that he did, that Adam West did, because I just didn't know where to place that movie. I didn't feel right placing that movie with these other Batman movies. Something just didn't feel right when I was trying to figure out where to place that movie. However, I gotta put Adam West in this actor ranking video because this guy is so iconic as Batman. He was Batman for an entire generation. The show is still being played on TV consistently all these decades later. Whenever I see Adam West as Batman, I just get a big smile on my face. Yes, the performance is very goofy and campy compared to these other actors, but you can't not include Adam West in a Batman actor ranking video. I know it may seem like he's kind of low on this list, but this is a part of my list where I start to love all the other actors that have played Batman. We're starting with Adam West because the other actors just gave off more serious, more grounded performances that we've come to really love and appreciate with Batman. And Adam West, like I mentioned in my movie ranking video, that respect for comic book movies wasn't quite there. So this performance was always kind of meant to be goofy and silly because that's what comic books were seen as the time. And so when you look at it on that regard, Adam West did a bang-up job. I love the guy. Like I said, I get a big smile on my face whenever I see an episode of the old Batman show or whenever I watch his Batman movie he did. I love the guy as Batman. I love the guy as Bruce Wayne. It's campy and silly fun, and he deserves to be on this list. Next up on my list, we have Michael Bale. Wait, Michael Bale? That doesn't sound right. Let me try again. Next up on my list, we have Christian Keaton. Wait, what? Okay, so I'm kind of cheating right now because I struggled so hard on where I was placing Michael Keaton and Christian Bale. Subjectively, I love both of these guys as Bruce Wayne and Batman. Michael Keaton is the nostalgic Batman. I mean, I grew up watching the original 2 Batman movies that he did. More so the first Batman, but that's still enough for me to consider him a nostalgic Batman. And very similar to Adam West, I just get a big smile on my face whenever I watch his movies. And my mind was just blown when I found out he was gonna reprise his role as Batman in the Flash movie. And I thought he did a great job carrying himself as Bruce Wayne in both regards, both the billionaire and when he's alone with Alfred. And of course, he did a phenomenal job as Batman. Sure, his movements are a little wonky because the Batman cowl he wore, you couldn't move your neck. So a lot of moving around like this. So his movements are a little awkward, but when he's in the Batman suit, it's pretty damn awesome. But at the same time, I equally love Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne and Batman. He gave, at the time, the most serious performance of the character we have ever seen. And that darker, grittier, serious performance still holds up more than 10 years after his films have come out. And in my opinion, very similar to Michael Keaton, he did a damn great job with those 3 personas of Bruce Wayne and Batman. The billionaire, when he's alone with Alfred, and Batman. I keep mentioning that, but people really underestimate that there are 3 identities of Bruce Wayne and Batman. And subjectively, I just couldn't find a way that I was 100% satisfied within myself on placing these 2 actors. So I'm cheating a little bit by giving them both the number 3 spots. That's why there's 6 slots in this ranking and not 7. If I had to do it objectively, like my full objective, like goggles, like who is absolutely the absolute best compared to both of these 2, it would probably be Christian Bale. So in that regard, this list would be number 4, Michael Keaton, and then number 3, Christian Bale. But like I said, subjectively, I just didn't feel right either way. So I just said, screw it, it's my list. I can do whatever I want. Instead of 7 slots, I'm going to do 6 slots, and I'm going to give both Michael Keaton and Christian Bale the number 3 spot because I love them both. At number 2, my runner-up for this list is the current Batman, Robert Pattinson. Now, I've heard a lot of people talk about Robert Pattinson as Batman, and I've heard a lot of concerns, not really concerns, but points that people mention about the Bruce Wayne persona. I've heard some people say he's playing the same type of character when he's in the Batman suit and when he's Bruce Wayne. I've heard some people complain he's too dark and too moody. I've heard a lot of different opinions when it comes to Robert Pattinson as Batman. But my response to the performances as Bruce Wayne and Batman is that he's still growing as Batman. He's only been Batman for a couple years, and yeah, you could argue, well, Christian Bale, he was just new as Batman, and he still gave us 3 different performances as Bruce Wayne and Batman. Yeah, but this movie, I don't remember if I put this in my The Batman review, but this movie, The Batman, is a little bit more grounded and a little bit more realistic and serious, in my opinion, than the Dark Knight movies did. I don't know, this movie just gave off vibes for me as we're trying to be more serious and more grounded in reality than the Dark Knight trilogy did. And in that regard, yeah, this character would be deeply affected by the stuff that happens in his past and the stuff that he's doing as Batman, even more so than how Christian Bale performed it. Again, it's just my personal opinion. If you didn't like his performance as Batman or you don't think it's this high regarded, that's completely fine. For me, I was just able to buy it a lot more. And going back to the more realistic aspect of it, that's why his Batman is the only Bruce Wayne in Batman that shows that he wears eye makeup when he puts on the mask. We saw that change in Batman Returns when Michael Keaton rips off his mask and the eye makeup is gone, but yet when we see him in the mask moments before he does that, you can see there's eye makeup there. So I like that this movie is addressing realistic things like that. Like, no, when this guy rips off his mask, he's gonna have eye makeup around his eyes because that's how his face blends into his mask. And like I said, it just worked. And the moodiness of him as Batman and Bruce Wayne, the gothic element, as some people have called it, it works in my opinion because this guy, like he said in the beginning of the movie, this is a minor spoiler, but it doesn't give away a whole lot. This guy in the beginning of the movie, he's saying that, you know, his whole point as Batman is he feels like he has to inflict fear into his villains or into the criminals of Gotham. So when you look at that, yeah, it makes sense that Bruce Wayne would be a little bit more moody, and the fact that he never got closure from his parents' death. I'm not going to get into that because that's going a little too much into spoilers, but the movie does address why Bruce Wayne is more moody, more grumpy, and more emo, I guess is what I want to try to say. I don't like using that, but that's what other people have mentioned, so that's what I'm going to use. It does bring it up, and it does have good payoff at the end of the movie, and Robert Pattinson just gave a fantastic performance as Batman. I love this guy as Bruce Wayne as Batman. I want to see him continue more. I want to see a whole trilogy, at least a trilogy. Give us, if you're not going to make like a big series, at least give us one solid trilogy with Robert Pattinson. If you do that, I'll be perfectly happy. I can't wait to see what he does next as Batman. And yeah, I love the guy. But my number one is still Ben Affleck. Now, a lot has been said about Ben Affleck. Some people call him the worst Batman of all time. Some people call him the best Batman of all time. I don't see a lot of middle ground when it comes to Affleck. You either love him or you hate him. But the reason I love Ben Affleck as Batman so much was because my favorite iteration of Batman has always been The Dark Knight Returns. That older Bruce Wayne that doesn't really have anything left. He's bigger, he's more muscular, he's more violent, and I don't know, that version of Batman just got me when I first read the comics and when I saw the Dark Knight Returns animated movie. I was like, holy shit, you do not want to run down in a dark alley with this guy lurking about. And Affleck did that perfectly, in my opinion. He was a great, seasoned Bruce Wayne and Batman. You could see that this guy has seen some shit in the last 20 or 25 years. I forgot when they said it in the movies, but he's seen some shit as his time as Batman, and that stuff has affected him personally. He still carries that Bruce Wayne persona that he's known for, the playboy billionaire, but when he's alone with Alfred, you can see the damage in his eyes. You can see the fact that all these years of being Batman in Gotham has really taken a toll on him. And then Superman comes into play, and that whole destruction at the end of Man of Steel, you could tell that really messed Bruce Wayne up. And I like that in Batman v Superman, they do kind of address why Batman is more violent, why he brands people. He brands people with a bat emblem. That's pretty messed up. But first, Bruce Wayne acknowledges this by saying that we're criminals, Alfred. We've always been criminals. Nothing's changed. And then he has another conversation with Alfred where he's like, look, this guy's an alien. Superman's an alien. We have no idea what he's capable of. And if there's even 1% that he's our enemy, we got to act on this immediately. We can't hold back any punches. And he does kind of address in that conversation that he really doesn't have anything left besides being Batman. So they do kind of address it. The puzzle pieces are there. You just gotta piece them together and really think about the words. At least in my opinion it does. Because once I heard that conversation a couple more times, the reason why he is the way he is in Batman v Superman, it did make sense. But then in Justice League, we get the more traditional Batman, and then the Zack Snyder Justice League, we get the best of both worlds. We get a more traditional Batman, but we get that darker, more seasoned Batman that we got in Batman v Superman. And I can't wait to see how he is in The Flash. I'm sad he's not coming back as Batman anymore after this Flash movie, but he did say that in the Flash movie, he does complete his character arc. So at least we're going to get a complete story, at least I hope we do, of his Batman arc in the Flash movie. So yeah, he's still my favorite Batman. I understand if he's not your favorite. It's a very different portrayal of Batman than what we're used to seeing, but it's all opinion based, and my opinion, Affleck is the best. So there you have it, guys. That is my ranking of the theatrical live-action Batman actors. Just like I said in the beginning of the video, let me know how you would rank these guys down in the comment section below. And as always, guys, thank you again for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like and share it. Subscribe right here if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, take care.